Okay.
Once again, it is a great honor to be presenting. This time, Miss JASMINA STUHLI, a graduate of the University of Tuzla, who has been teaching English in primary school since 2006. As a teacher trainer, she actively explores and shares contemporary teaching models and techniques in order to increase student success. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So my name is JASMINA STUHLI. It's a little bit differently pronounced. As you have said, I have been teacher for almost 20 years now. And for the most of the time, I'm in primary school with 16 to 14-year-old students. So my presentation today is about artificial intelligence and the ways it can help teachers save time. I have to be honest, I do not consider myself an expert, but I think in using AI, but I think every time I use it, I am getting better and better. And as we can see, we already have some great examples shared, and hopefully you will have also more to share. If maybe you can just write in the chat what AI tools do you use and what do you use them for? Why isn't my presentation moving? For some reason, my presentation is not moving.
Can you try alternatively to the mouse?
I think this is it. This is it.
Okay, good.
So do we have any answers? ChatGPT, okay. What do you use it for? ChatGPT, Twee, Bingai, okay.
My reasons are very humble.
Find out if my students are cheating, okay. Generating text, it's okay. Okay, thank you very much. The speaker before me has already gave a definition of artificial intelligence. It refers to development of computer systems which can perform tasks that actually require human intelligence. So problem solving, learning, perception, language understanding, and decision making. And these systems aim to replicate or simulate human cognitive functions. When it comes to AI tools, I mostly use ChatGPT and recently Copilot as well. I have tried some other tools like Magic School, Quizalize, etc., but I haven't really researched these a lot. So today I will go shortly through four main activities I use it ChatGPT for. I don't know what it's like in your countries, but here in my country, paperwork is killing us so softly, especially if you are home teacher too. So for many years, I actually can't get rid of the feeling that it is more important to have something written down than actually done. It's like I'm working in administration, not in the classroom. I guess you have seen this picture, become a teacher, they said, it will be fun. Well, ChatGPT actually does a lot of paperwork that I usually hate. So let's say today you had like 5 45-minute lessons, and after your teaching, you have a teacher-parents meeting. So you are those types of workers who want everything done during the day. So when you finish the meeting, you also want to have your report written down. But you are just so tired, you cannot think of anything. So you just text your friend, give it a main few points of the meeting, and it writes everything down for you. And sometimes, not sometimes, very often, it has much better ideas than I do. For example, during the last meeting with parents, I had a workshop with parents, and I used Mentimeter for the parents to give some answers about their children's behavior at home. So after asking ChatGPT to write a report, it said I use this tool to ensure anonymity among parents and encourage them to give honest answers. Actually, I wanted them to try something new. Haven't even thought about what it actually said. Also in schools in Bosnia, we have councils of like language teachers, math teachers, etc. So we have to write bi-monthly reports on the activities that we do. So for example, during this school year, we did some activities on European Languages Day, Code Week, Mother Language Day, etc. So for all the activities, you have to write short reports. So I just tell ChatGPT what we did. I tell it to write it 2, 3, 4 sentences to add the learning outcomes, and I get really excellent reports. You see, I'm really a person of action, and I really enjoy my job, but I enjoy it when I'm in the classroom with my students. I'm not a very big fan of report writing, so ChatGPT is actually a great saver. ChatGPT can be really great in generating some classroom ideas, especially those no prep, no cost activities. So when you are out of the ideas, you ask your friend for help. So last year, I think I wanted my students to practice future simple tense. So it suggested like a crystal ball activity where students imagine holding a crystal ball, working in pairs and predicting each other's future. They can talk about the weather, the family life, or the next big inventions. Also for the teachers working with younger students, like I do, we need a lot of moving games, and I do really a lot of TPR, but I usually do TPR with action verbs or to mime an animal, for example. So when I wanted to practice food vocabulary, ChatGPT suggested like I give each child a flashcard, or I whisper the word and they have to mime how food is eaten, for example, spaghetti, or how food is made, for example, with an egg. And students really, really enjoyed the lesson. I also often have a lack of ideas for my students, first graders who can't write. So when we practice naming toys, it suggested like a game of hiders and seekers. So half of the class would go out, the other half would hide the toys. Then they would come back. They had to look for the toys, match them with the flashcard, and name the toy. And what I really like about it is, for example, if I had lesson in class A and I didn't really like how something went, during my 5-minute break, I can quickly get more new and different ideas. ChatGPT cannot just generate activities, it can generate great workshops and lesson plans. As I already said, I'm a homeroom teacher, so we have to do a lot of workshops with our students on different topics such as, I don't know, nonviolent communication, listening skills, important dates, etc. And for each of these, you have to write a lesson plan, you have to write a report, etc. So last year, we had this very engaging workshop where students had to think of new ideas to advertise local products. So they had to think of catchy phrases and make some short videos. The idea was actually mine, but the lesson plan was written totally by the ChatGPT. Where I definitely find it mostly useful and use it almost on a daily basis is in generating differentiated tasks and individualized education programs. I have really a lot of students with special educational needs, and I have a lot of saved worksheets. But even when I have students with same diagnosis, let's say, like visual impairment, they are a totally different level, and I cannot use the same worksheets. Of course, ChatGPT cannot tell you what your students can or can't do, but if you describe your student and what he or she can do, it can generate great things. Even suggest some activities we sometimes simply forget about. As you can see in this photo, actually ChatGPT can generate 30 to 50 fill-in sentences much faster than I can think of them, let alone type them. For example, in this photo, you can see my students with special needs, educational needs, can actually complete them if the subject is personal pronoun, which I instructed ChatGPT to do. It also does great work in generating different types of tasks. I don't know, multiple choice answers, match the words and a definition, unjumble the sentences, etc., etc. And I don't use it just to prepare some worksheets for students with special educational needs. I use it like for those students who maybe are lower progressing or faster progressing, etc. So how to ask ChatGPT to do something for you? There are different examples you can find online, and they mostly instruct you to define your goal, your task, whether it's simple or complex. This part of the prompt, the instruction, is mandatory. The more context you provide, the better answers you will get. Some sites suggest to add examples. I personally never write examples, and I still get excellent answers. If you are using a persona, you are instructing it to respond from a particular perspective. So you can say you are an English language teacher, you are a homeroom teacher, write in the third person singular. When it comes to format, you can tell it whether you want a table, whether you want a bullet points, whether you want a paragraph, how many words do you want. Finally, you can add the tone, like do you want it to sound formal or informal. Some sites suggest to start from the context. So you start from the context, explain the task, and then give instructions. Like with this, like you are a yoga instructor writing for a wellness magazine, write an article about meditation. The goal is to educate readers about the benefits of meditation, and the article by listing some practical tips. Keep the tone approachable, aim for a minimum of 800 words. So what I would say, you are an English language teacher preparing some worksheets for a student with special educational needs. Write 3 different types of tasks for the student to practice present continuous. Use short, simple sentences. Add adverbs of time. So I want the sentences to have now, at the moment, look, listen. Use personal pronouns as subject. Each task should have 10 sentences. The school where I work is close to the orphanage, and there are a lot of students from the orphanage in my class. So if I prepare some tasks for them, I usually instruct ChatGPT not to mention mother or father words. When I look back to my prompts, I think I mostly chat with it by providing task and context. But you will see the more you use it, the better you get at getting things faster. What I'm not sure is either I learn how it works or it learns how I think, which is a bit scarier option. Am I afraid that ChatGPT will replace teachers? I strongly believe it can't and it won't. Using it more and more, I have found out that it really does make a lot of mistakes. For example, if you instruct it to give you 20 irregular verbs, it will. However, if you ask it to write a story with just irregular verbs in the past, you will see a lot of regular verbs like decided, beamed, returned, whipped, cracked, sipped, toasted, etc., etc. Or if I instruct it to write some sentences in, for example, a present continuous, he will write sentences like he's running in the park every morning or he's playing soccer every afternoon. So this is definitely not present continuous, it's present simple. But even with these mistakes, it is still very useful and much faster than I can be. My job is to use what it generated, but I have to check everything for possible mistakes. So being artificial, human intelligence definitely lacks, artificial intelligence definitely lacks a human touch. And this is actually where we as teachers step in. So we have to start from our own ideas, our knowledge of our students' needs, abilities, and interests. And we have to simply just use the help of AI to save our time. So that is why my answer to my first question is to both I and to AI. So we start from what we know and use the help of it to achieve better learning outcomes. If you can just shortly or quickly sign into Mentimeter and add some of your reflections on this workshop, or if you have any questions. I think I have been really fast in my presentation. Sorry.
More time for discussion, it's not a problem. More time for
Definitely.
discussion, yeah, and I think
Definitely.
teachers are worried about AI. So yes, why not? Questions and of course a discussion, why not?
Can I just try to I haven't been using
Okay.
You want our reflections on the presentation or
yes,
on AI?
both the presentation and the use of AI. We have somebody with raised hand, Antigone.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you. I have been using ChatGPT since last year, and I have been experiencing the same of what you have presented, and to be honest, the same reservation sometimes. It's quite liberating, if I may say, as far as time is concerned, mostly. But again, it needs the human touch. There's not a single exercise I have created that has not demanded my personal touch.
Definitely. Definitely.
And just like you, I have students with learning difficulties, and despite the fact that their diagnoses are similar, personally, I see them as totally different, totally unique, because they are different and they are unique. Therefore, their needs and are not the same.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
each worksheet I create, with the help of AI, of course, has to be thoroughly revised. But it's a reality. It's here for our help. And it should be embraced, like you have said.
Yes, yes. I teach 7th graders. Last year, I had a student who would like walk the entire lesson around the classroom, etc. I have actually realized that he doesn't understand what I'm teaching.
Yes.
So I have started bringing differentiated worksheets just for him. Now that student is like, teacher, have you got some? And I'm like, what? Some tests for me. Give me something to do. Give me something to do. He keeps asking and asking to practice. And I really cannot go to bed if I haven't prepared anything for him for the next day. He does the same things that his friends, his classmates are learning. Like first conditional was the last, but I give him short sentences. I sometimes translate some things beforehand, so I have to prepare a day or two earlier, but he still does the same things, just in a bit simplified way.
Yeah.
Can I share the
Yes,
Mentimeter?
of course, free.
Just a second. I haven't been using Zoom recently.
If you need any help, let us know.
Just a second. Yes, and it definitely is thought-provoking, challenging, inspiring, especially for the administration part. Report. Anybody else maybe with a question or a comment? I hear somebody, but I can't hear well. Well, you can reach me at jasmina.music@hotmail.com. You can also read a lot about me on the internet. I do a lot of STEM activities. I'm also a Scientix ambassador, and I was invited to make a short video about using ChatGPT for different STEM projects: science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. And as language teachers, some of us may struggle with science part, with math part, etc. And what we actually concluded when making the video for the Scientix, you can find it on YouTube, is that the more you chat with GTP, the better answers and clarification you get. I remember I was doing a project, a STEM project. I wanted to connect music, English language teaching, science, math, etc. So I missed the science part. ChatGPT suggested I can teach my students like how does the sound, how do the sound waves look like? And I was like, okay, but I really don't understand that. And it said, tell your students to imagine when you throw a rock into the water, so they should imagine all the circles coming around. So explain to them that that is actually how the sound travels. And I was really amazed at the idea, because it was really, really simple.
Well, you're right.
Very, very simple.
So thank you very much, Jasmina, and thank you so much for all the great ideas you have given us. I suggest, since, first of all, let me stop the recording.